never forget the very first show that we did. Almost teared up in that moment. We tapped into something, because it was original enough to make me feel like an original artist, but it was a tribute to an era,
Hey, man, thanks for joining us. I think you and I met when you started the Reckless in Vegas show at Sahara, right?
I think so. Through no, we met at Notoriety one for you. What was the gal you were playing with that was on? Not Star Search, but-
Megan.
Yeah, so
Megan,
I
that's
think
right.
We met through
Yeah,
Megan,
through
at
Megan.
one of the things at Notoriety. But then
Yeah.
that would have been, I guess we were probably at the Sahara still.
Yeah.
And then
You
our
guys
mutual
just started, I think, yeah.
our mutual friend, Mr.
Yeah.
Court Benz.
So I'm excited because I actually love that show. In fact, I came to it a few times, and I think the concept is fantastic.
Thank you.
And I found out a bunch of things about you, like you were born in the town I grew up in, and then you ended up in Vegas.
Yeah.
You ended up going back and coming back again. So that's my first question: is what the hell?
Glutton for punishment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad moved here in the 70s. My grandfather in 1955. My mom and my dad divorced when I was 1. I divorced relatively early in my childhood. My mom moved to Portland, Oregon, and my dad moved to Las Vegas. And so at 1, I moved to Las Vegas to live with my dad. First few years of my life, I went back and forth from Portland, Las Vegas, Portland, Las Vegas. And, I grew up here, elementary school, junior high school, the whole thing, high school. And in my 11th grade year, somebody introduced me to the wonderful drug of cocaine.
Oh.
And I dropped out of school, and I moved to Portland I went to school there. I went to the second half of my 11th grade year. I was in Portland, and I dropped out of school there. And then when I wanted to move back to Las Vegas, my dad forced me to go back to high school. So I actually ended up graduating from high school. Fast forward, I didn't touch cocaine again until I was 27, and at that point, I was making some money, and I was playing in a band, and just full of myself, and I got reintroduced to cocaine, and that lasted about 3 years before I hit a pretty good bottom, and it was fun until the bottom.
And that was in Vegas.
That was in Vegas, and I got a phone call from my mom who just said, "Hey, get out of Vegas. Vegas is your problem." And so I thought, yeah, okay.
There's a song there, by the way.
I've tried to write this song many, many times. And I took her up on it, and I moved to Portland, and Portland has more strip clubs per capita than anywhere in the country. I don't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a good fun fact for touring musicians. And they also have cocaine, which was a real shock and surprise to me when I got there.
Did not know that either.
Yeah, they got that everywhere. And I was the guy that could find cocaine in a church. So I figured that out right away, and I was right back to doing the same behavior there that I was doing in Las Vegas. And there was a lot of circumstances too. I mean, I put a band together in Portland, and we toured. We were in that. I don't know if you remember that fire in Rhode Island that killed 100 people.
Yeah, I do.
Guys. Yeah. So we were on tour with Great White when that happened, and I came back and really went into my addiction, and I pulled it back together again, and then got on another tour and got a record deal, and I went out with the band live. We opened for them. It was incredible. Probably one of the highlights of my touring experience. And I started using on that tour too. So finally, somebody recommended I go to a relapse-specific treatment center. I'm like, because I'd been through 3 or 4 shorties before that, and I went to the Bay Area. So to me, it was like going home. I was born there, right? My family's from there. And I did a 7-month program, and I decided to just move. I sold my house in Portland and ended up, it's actually in Vancouver, Washington, but that's just across the river. And I moved to San Rafael. I was there for 9 years and came up with this crazy idea to do these rock and roll versions of Vintage Vegas, an homage. And we started getting hired in Las Vegas. And in 2014, Seth Shore, who was one of the owners of the Downtown Grand, he flew to San Jose and saw us play. And the following week, they booked us on a 5-weekend residency, hotel suites, and they paid for all the marketing. They gave us guarantees. And I thought that's what Vegas was, because that's how it was when I grew, growing up here, right?
Right.
The old school entertainment days. And so I very quickly, that was October 2014. By April of 2015, I had rented out my house in the Bay Area, and I moved here. I moved back to Vegas to do the show, and that was how I came back. So
Well, there's a
That was a short answer.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
want
I
the
know,
long
I
one?
know it is. But there's a point in the show where you do this monologue and you actually talk about growing up here
Yeah.
and sneaking into the casinos and the clubs and all that. And I found it really interesting.
Yeah.
So when I heard the first time I heard the show, I'm like, this is really cool because it's music that I'm really into and music that I know about, but not so well. And you did a great job mashing them up together.
We wanted to change them. I didn't want to do. I did cover bands when we were younger. We were doing cover bands, and then I became an original artist on the road, and I put a lot of music out, and I couldn't figure out how to really make any money with it, and I almost did, and then I had a bad cocaine experience, and I blew everything. I was with Rogers and Cowan. I had a record deal with Universal Fontana. That was the beginning of the tour with Live. I mean, I had a single on the radio. It was the number 3 most added in the country, 1,100 spins a week. I'm thinking,
you're in.
It's happening, and that cocaine looks pretty good. And I got dropped by the label. Rogers and Cowan fired me, and I just went into a hole. But point being is that I wanted to try to figure out a way to remake these songs in a way that was original enough to stimulate my inner artist, and then also pay homage to this great city and what built this great city. So I think that's what you're keying in on, is that the little twist, the modern twist that's put on them too. Yeah.
Yep. And not only that, but it's visually it's a really appealing show, and you've got choreography and dancing. Yeah. Allie, you know a little bit about that, right?
Allie's a dancer.
I only dedicated like half my life to it. I actually moved out here to pursue dance.
You did?
Yeah.
When did you move out here?
5 years ago, 6 years ago.
And did you start working when you got here? Or?
No, I actually decided I hate dance and I don't want to do it anymore.
But it got you to Vegas. So.
It did, yeah, and that's how it got me into video. Yeah.
It's hard on the body. But my wife Jolie she's 36, but when I met her, she was 28, and she's changed careers because it got to a point where she knew that her body wasn't going to be able to keep up with it, and now she's a marital and family therapist, which is really cool to see. To witness somebody change careers, not late in life, but certainly, I mean, it's scary. You're letting go of a little cup to get to a bigger cup, that space in between. And I watched her during COVID. She went back to school and she got her master's, and now she's got to practice, and she still dances with Reckless. We're doing shows once a month, corporate stuff, but she's done. She doesn't have the drive that you had, Allie, when you first came to Vegas. She had that out the whole time I knew her, and then all of a sudden I saw it shift for her.
Yeah,
but I don't think it was for the lack of love of dance. I think it was because
it's like a mental thing too. Like I was gonna pursue modeling too, and to like, I don't know if I can hear myself, but to like rely so much on your looks takes a toll on you.
Well, what's crazy about that is, are you on camera? You're on
camera?
Yeah,
I'm on camera.
So the audience can see how beautiful Allie is. You are very beautiful,
thank
and
you.
I assume a pretty good dancer too, so it didn't have anything to do with that. You just changed your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a great filmmaker, and she runs the production team at Lucy Hub.
Yes.
Wow,
fantastic.
that's great. This is more fun and creative too, anyway.
Yeah, it really is.
And you only have to answer to people like I'm Aaron. Hopefully your bosses are nice.
You know why I sit behind this drum set?
Why?
So they don't attack me.
Oh, you have protection.
Yeah,
I thought it had something to do with a throne. You want to be on a throne.
No, actually, no. They gave me a bench. I'm like, this is really uncomfortable. Can I get it?
Was that at court? Or yeah, here are we.
Shit.
So yeah, Vegas has been an interesting journey. And so, would you ever get back in? I'm gonna interview Allie.
No, go ahead.
Would you ever get back into dance?
I would just for me, just because I did
fun.
love it, and I did. It was just hard when, especially your family, they're like pushing you so hard to like do something, like be someone, and then you're like, well, I don't really want to do that anymore.
Where'd you come from? Where
Texas.
Oh, Texas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Jolie's from Oklahoma. Midwest girl.
But this whole story about changing careers, it's actually not a bad thing. There's a great book called Range, and it talks about generalists, right, and how they can connect dots later in life because they've got so much experience doing different things. So it's not a bad thing, but it's the fear that people have to, leave something maybe they're not happy, they're just done with, to go do something else.
Or sometimes we're stuck financially, like we can't go do what we love because we got a job that's paying, and I don't know. I feel like. And I didn't come up with this. I heard this somewhere, but we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and it baffles me to find out how many people don't move away from that. They go not more than 2 miles from their hometown.
Yeah.
And I think that we got to get out and take risks and do things to get the full experience here.
Well, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I mean, you this show that you built took a lot of time and a lot of money, right? How much time did you put into it?
Oh, I mean, I came up with in 2000, 6 when I bought this house in the Bay Area. My next door neighbor he's still there. He's a Grammy Award winning producer, and I became friends with him. And so he produced the first Reckless in Vegas EP that we put out, and we had 10 originals, but we picked 5 for the EP. And he had the idea to remake Neil Diamond's Solitary Man and put it on that EP. And we did that, and that was 2008. And then we did another EP with Sylvia Massey, another incredible producer. And then in 2011, like we're touring, and like I couldn't get it. It's my label, so I couldn't get it to be where it was self-sustaining and profitable. And the booking agent that I was working with at Variety Artists International said, Michael, if you want to make money playing music, do a tribute act. Do Johnny Cash or Tom Petty or whatever. So Mario Cipollina from Huey Lewis and the News was playing bass with us, and Ryan Lowe, and I called those guys and said, hey, let's do Johnny Cash. We raised the keys. We learned 50 Johnny Cash songs, and we were just getting ready to start band rehearsal on them. And it wasn't sitting with me.
Right.
And I could do it, right? And it's cool, whatever, but it wasn't that original thing that I liked. So we shelved the idea, and 2 weeks later, I used to meditate every day. I was so into it. I was like, I'm an addict, so when you find something good, do more of it. Every day, and I'm in this meditation, and I see Reckless in Vegas in these really cool old, marquee lights, and there's dancers and black and white video montages of Vegas. I'm wearing this sharkskin suit, and the band's all in these crazy suits, and I'm playing our style of music, our kind of alternative rock vibe, but I'm singing a Frank Sinatra song. So I come out of the meditation, I call Dan Shea. I say, hey, man, the thing we did with Solitary Man, what do you think about doing that with old Vegas music? So we spent a year, and we ended up crafting this incredible album called The Hard Way. We released it, and I'll never forget the very first show that we did at the Sweetwater in the Mill Valley, and I got to that. I think it was maybe the third song, and it was I Love You, Baby, and the whole room sang with us, and it was like, okay. And I remember I almost teared up in that moment. We tapped into something, because it was original enough to make me feel like an original artist, but it was a tribute to an era, So,
yeah. So, what's your favorite song, or what are your favorite songs in this particular show? I know we're gonna play one of them. You want to give me background on that one?
Yeah. Well, I would like to do an Elvis tune with you guys. It's a straight ahead rock song, So we'll do All Shook Up.
Well, and you rockify them too, right? I mean,
that's it. So
there's another song that I think These Boots Were Made for Walking. I think I remember it opening with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So those are mashups, right? There are in the show, they're all original arrangements with the exception of, I always wanted to do Boots Were Made for Walking with either a guest or one of our background singers, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Any of the arrangements that I tried to craft or Dan tried to craft, they didn't do it. And I woke up one morning, with that. Is this good? Can I just?
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard that in my head, and then I heard, the boots are made for walking thing, and so I went to my studio and I cut and pasted some stuff together, and it worked perfectly. So that's a mashup, right?
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's a very good year is actually the music we created for it is Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit, another mashup, and then there's one other mashup where Mr. Bojangles by Sammy Davis Jr. We mash it up with Jimi Hendrix Manic Depression. So nice. We do some of that, and I think it's creative, and I do like that. But I do like crafting new interpretations of that great music and modernizing it. And rock and roll is my style, so that's what they come out like.
Well, grab that guitar. Let's play a song.
I just did, man.
Now let's play another one.
Sound like it's out of tune, I think. I don't know. Where's the text in here? You get a text?
We can make a commercial and cut to it.
Allie, let's do that.
We can make a Lucy Hub.
We'll do a Lucy Hub commercial sponsored by this episode of Makers and Jams, sponsored by Lucy Hub.
Okay.
Creating at the speed of life.
I'm going to move this back a little. Bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love, I'm all shook up, yeah, yeah, are shaking and my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. Who do you think of when you have such luck? I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now please don't ask me what's on my mind. I'm a little mixed up, but I'm feeling fine when I'm near the girl that I love best. My heart beats so it scares me to death when she touched my chin. What a feel I got. Her lips are like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now. Ask me what's on my mind. I'm a little mixed up, but I'm feeling fine when I'm near the girl that I love best. My heart beats so it scares me to death when she touched mine. And what a chill I got. Lips are like a volcano that's hot.